For most of us, the zodiac begins and ends with 12 familiar signs, from Aries to Pisces, each carrying qualities and archetypes that shape how we see ourselves and the world around us. But hidden within the ancient sky lies another constellation that complicates this story. This constellation is called Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, a figure of myth and mystery that the sun actually passes through each year, though it has long been left out of the mainstream zodiac most people know today. The omission of Ophiuchus is not the result of a modern conspiracy, but rather a choice made thousands of years ago, when early astrologers divided the sky into 12 equal parts to align with the solar year and the changing of seasons. 12 made sense because it mirrored the 12 months, the 12 lunar cycles, and the rhythm of agricultural and ritual life. But in doing so, constellations like Ophiuchus, and others less well known, faded from the system. When we look back at the Babylonian sky watchers, who created one of the earliest zodiac systems, we find they were aware of more than 12 constellations along the ecliptic. Yet they selected a symbolic 12 to bring order and symmetry to their calendar. The Greeks later inherited and refined this system, giving us the zodiac signs still in use today. But along the way, they too left out Ophiuchus, a decision that helped solidify the 12-sign zodiac into the cultural fabric of the Western world. Yet the sky itself did not change, and the sun continued to cross through the region of Ophiuchus roughly between late November and mid-December, placing it directly between Scorpio and Sagittarius. This hidden passage of the sun raises fascinating questions, because it suggests that people born under this time could, by stellar alignment, be considered children of the 13th sign, even if our cultural system does not acknowledge it. Ophiuchus itself is an evocative constellation, depicted as a man grasping a great serpent, a symbol that echoes ancient themes of healing, wisdom, and mastery over hidden forces of nature. In mythology, it has often been associated with Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine, whose knowledge of herbs and remedies was said to be so great he could bring the dead back to life, a gift that stirred the jealousy of the gods. The serpent he carries is not a symbol of evil, but of renewal and transformation, echoing the shedding of old skin and the cycles of rebirth that align closely with the deeper mysteries of astrology itself. Astrologers who consider Ophiuchus sometimes suggest it carries qualities of healers, seekers of truth, and challengers of convention, people who walk between worlds, resisting simple labels or narrow categories. But Ophiuchus is not the only forgotten constellation that whispers from the zodiac belt, because along the ecliptic path there are faint star patterns that ancient cultures once noticed, but later allowed to slip from astrological practice. For instance, constellations like Cetus, the sea monster, or Orion, the hunter, though not part of the traditional zodiac circle, hover close to its boundaries and played roles in myths tied to celestial navigation and seasonal cycles. These forgotten figures remind us that astrology, as we know it, is not a fixed science but a cultural framework, shaped by human decisions, simplifications, and compromises that allowed the sky to fit neatly into our calendars. Even today, astronomers point out that the constellations of the zodiac are not all equal in size, meaning the sun spends more time in some and less in others, a fact that complicates the idea of perfect symmetry. For example, the sun spends only about a week in Scorpio, while it lingers in Virgo for more than a month. Yet in the astrological system, each sign is granted equal weight and equal length of time. This is because astrology works with symbolic divisions called signs, not literal constellations, though the two are often confused, especially when discussions of Ophiuchus enter the conversation. When NASA or scientists occasionally mention the 13th constellation, it sparks debate among the public, leading some to believe their sun sign has changed, though in truth, the zodiac of astrology and the constellations of astronomy serve different purposes. Astrology relies on a symbolic 12-part wheel that aligns with the seasons, while astronomy maps the physical positions of stars and constellations, and the confusion between them is part of what fuels the mystery of Ophiuchus. Still, the presence of this hidden 13th sign continues to intrigue, because it opens a doorway to the possibility that our identities are more complex, layered, and connected to forgotten wisdom than the simplified charts suggest. For those born in the window of Ophiuchus, there is a natural curiosity about whether this forgotten sign speaks to them, whether they feel like outsiders to the 12-sign system, or whether they carry qualities of healing and transformation. Some modern astrologers experiment with weaving Ophiuchus back into charts, though there is no consensus, and its role remains a matter of exploration rather than tradition, a reminder that astrology evolves as culture evolves. The forgotten constellations invite us to see astrology less as a closed book and more as a living language, one that can adapt, question, and reveal new stories when we look at the sky with fresh eyes. It is worth remembering that every star in the night sky has a story, and what we choose to name, honor, or include reflects as much about human culture as it does about the heavens themselves. Ophiuchus may never officially rejoin the Zodiac, but its presence endures, a quiet reminder that the cosmos resists neat boundaries and that mystery always lingers at the edges of what we think we know. In this way, the 13th sign becomes less about changing horoscopes and more about expanding our awareness, reminding us that there are always hidden layers waiting to be rediscovered. Just as the serpent sheds its skin to reveal something new beneath, so too does the Zodiac carry within it the potential for transformation, for remembering what has been forgotten and embracing the unknown. And perhaps by acknowledging Ophiuchus and the other constellations that lie just outside our familiar system, we honor the fullness of the sky, seeing not only the order we impose but also the mystery that refuses to be contained. The hidden Zodiac, with its 13th sign and forgotten constellations, invites us to look again at the stars and wonder, not just about who we are, but about what else might be waiting in the darkness between the lights. The 13th Zodiac sign and its forgotten constellations teach us that the night sky is not just a static map, but a constantly evolving space of mystery. The 12 signs we know are just one version of the cosmos, while beneath them lie ancient stories, obscured symbolism, and secrets waiting to be uncovered. This is proof that what we believe today may be just a small piece of a greater truth. What do you think is the 13th sign worthy of recognition? Or should it simply remain a forgotten part of mythology? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future star explorations.